Hi, Lilian. Hello, everyone. Carol here. Oh, happy to see your face, Lilian. Lilian had been sick the past week.
Yes, I've been like totally knocked down by this virus, or indigestion and intestine. Wow, it's haywire.
Wow, that sounds really,
But I'm
really
glad to be
nasty.
back. Yeah, back up. Yeah, it was really nasty. I just, basically, but it's a good thing because I really get to rest. I get to sleep. I get to sleep and rest and read. So, yeah, I'm just glad to be back.
Yeah,
Right. So,
great.
to our audience out there, this is Lilian here, and together with me is
Carol?
Carol. Yeah, and this is our Voices of Courage Asia channel. Especially we are the season of Lead with Courage series, right? And
Mhm.
we are specifically chatting about topics that are very close to our hearts in the area of entrepreneurship, right? And I understand for the past few episodes, we have covered quite a number of topics already. So before
Mm.
we move on to the next segment of the topics, I think it's good to do a quick recap, right?
Yeah,
A quick
yeah.
recap of the few topics that we have talked about. And for today's episode, we want to like really look at as an entrepreneur, who are we really? Who are
Mm.
we really as an entrepreneur? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that is the question that we want to really dive a little bit in,
Mhm.
right? So, Carol,
Yes.
uh, who do you see yourself as? When you present yourself as an entrepreneur, but who are you really? Are you just an entrepreneur? What does entrepreneur means to you anyway?
Wow. Okay. Entrepreneur means, okay, a business owner, an honorable business owner, someone who's empathetic, and someone who's also a responsible with my business in order so that I can contribute to the world. And also, it has got a tag in terms of my own personal story, why I want to go into entrepreneurship in the first place. So this backstory would be, I want to be able to create a legacy so that my children will look up to me one day and say, hey, I want to be like my mother. So,
Mm,
if you want to say, I am a mompreneur, yeah. And this is actually what I see. I'm a mom, and being a woman, I wear many different hats. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a friend as well. So
mhm.
all of this became also my identity, and also part of what I inject into my business as an entrepreneur. What about you, Lilian?
Right. Yeah, I mean, over the years, if you know my story, I did not work in the corporate world for long. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a short number of years of about, if I add them up in total, it's only about 6 years in the corporate world. Yeah, with
Okay.
different companies. Yeah, and the rest of my time is in the world of entrepreneurship. Yeah,
Wow.
so started the business right from
Mm-hmm.
ground zero and all that, right? So I think I it could be a little bit of genetics. I mean, passed down from my family. I know my grandmother. She's entrepreneurial, right?
Mm-hmm.
She came from Thailand, Myanmar borders, and she runs her. She was very entrepreneurial. She started her own business in Singapore when she married to my grandfather. She was running a coffee shop. She was running the show, right? And my
Wow.
grandfather was the one helping her. Yeah. And then comes my dad. My dad is also very entrepreneur. He couldn't stay in an office or office setting for long. So throughout his whole entire working life, yeah, he is very self-employed. Yeah, and
Mm.
he set up many different businesses before as well. So I guess, yeah, I think that could be a little bit of influence over there.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't sit still in a cubicle in an office. Yeah,
Mm.
it is not the place for me. Yeah. So being in the world of entrepreneurship, I think I have learned a lot, especially about myself. Yeah.
Mm.
So entrepreneurship is not just about building a business. Over the years, I've learned that it is actually really about being a leader,
Mhm.
about influencing people in our
Yeah.
lives. Yeah, with the values that we want to share. and talking about values, just now you mentioned three very important values, and that is, honor, empathy, and responsibility, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yes. So I see beyond just entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur is not just about building the business.
Mm.
About leadership, about about being a mentor to the team, about being an innovator,
Mm.
creator,
Yes.
solution provider, the catalyst, the enabler, the change maker, the contributor, you name it. And I think most of all, over the years, the lesson learned is be a servant leader. So we are in the service. That's what I
Yes.
like to say. For Class Living, social enterprise, we are in the service of building courageous women leaders. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
And
my
then, true. I mean, I totally agree with you because and leadership, there's just so many different types of leadership. And then,
mm,
well, to go into details, it was going to take us like many days. In fact, there's actually the very, very types of leaders. And as you rightfully mentioned, servant leader. And it is actually a servant leadership is not a term that is widely recognized and widely used. The leadership that a lot of us have in a lot of us have on the mindset is that it has to be, I'm this really hard rock, tough, demanding leader. So it's like my word is actually the word. You have to follow. Yeah. So
like
it's
the
it's
boss,
the
right? I'm the boss.
yeah.
You
So
listen,
it's like
I
you
say
have
you
to
do.
yeah. So it really is my way or the highway kind of a thing. But then, this is actually the leadership style a lot of people are accustomed to. But then servant leadership, just by the word servant leadership, it really sets a lot of people thinking. And I think it's also good for us to use this opportunity to let all our entrepreneurs out there who's listening and also watching this video,
Mm,
to think about what exactly is servant leadership. Why people are shunning away, yeah, from
mm.
this type of leadership. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the understanding of I think the word itself, servant, right?
Mm.
It's already,
Yes.
you have different interpretation of the word servant, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore it might not be so widely um, accepted. Yeah,
Yes.
there is a preconception about what servant is, right?
Mm.
So, but again, like we say, when we look into service, you're serving someone, we're serving our clients, we're serving our customers, right? We're serving our team, our colleagues. Yeah. And service, that's why our core value, one of our core values is also stewardship, right? It's
Mm.
how we manage the resources in our life, right? Regardless of whether is it talent, or whether is it time, or whether is it treasure, or in terms of money,
Yeah.
finances. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And relationship.
Oh,
Relationship is
yes.
also how we steward. Yeah. So
Mm.
we can't run away from service. Yeah,
Yes.
I feel, because I feel that business is all about service, like
Yeah.
providing a service, yeah, with your skill set or with your knowledge and your experience. So yeah, I don't have any problem with that word. Yeah, although I do agree with you that majority so far, that people that we come across mean like,
Mm.
oh, what do you mean
Mm.
by servant leadership?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be quite a controversial topic, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Hmm. But I think we want to, for this very limited time, we just want our audience, those who are listening in or watching this video, to really reevaluate,
Yeah.
reevaluate your identity, right? To really ask yourself this question, um, as an entrepreneur, who are you really? Who are you
Yeah.
really? Are you just someone who is like just running a business, and then just very focused on profit driven, and it's just about making the money,
Mm.
so that you can buy your property, you can increase your portfolio. Is that all it is? Yeah, my
Mm.
question will be that. Yeah. And there's some examples of people around us, right? That's why I mentioned that
Yeah.
I see entrepreneurs is more than just a business owner. It's
Mm.
not just a leader, but also a change maker,
Yeah.
right? A
Yeah.
mentor. Yeah. And that brings us to my she's my mentor. Yeah,
Mm.
in the area of social entrepreneurship,
Mm.
and that is Miss Lim Chiu. Right.
Ah,
So
yes.
yes, Yeah, she is. She advocates about change maker. Business for good. When you do a business, how can you contribute and add value to the community and to the society? How does
Yeah.
it help the people that you're serving? Yeah. How
Yeah.
about yourself? Which example? Any example of a leader that comes to your mind
Well, I
when you
mean,
think of an entrepreneur and leader?
yeah, well, the first person who came into my mind would be Oprah Winfrey, a very unlikely entrepreneur.
Ah,
Very unlikely. I mean, also because first of all, being a woman of color in uh,
mm,
in America, and the things like
mm,
she is known as this very famous talk show host, but little do they know that
mm,
she actually owned the network. And she's definitely a
yes.
bona fide entrepreneur, but it's not specifically being mentioned that she's an entrepreneur, and that is actually an
Mm,
epitome of leadership, basically. She's able to
mm,
carve out something from herself, from her job, and then she developed her own entire empire. Yeah.
mm.
But another
And
thing that
like we, mhm.
yeah, another thing that
Yeah.
I was
So go
thinking
ahead.
is also, just as we are having this conversation, I was wondering is why aren't we including ourselves as the leader?
Oh yes, good point. Very good point there. Yeah. Yep. You want to continue with that? Yes.
Yeah, well, for
I'm
me,
all
this is
yes.
like
I'm all yes.
it all is well. Okay, the thing is, we're sitting here talking about your identity, like our identity, our female entrepreneurs out there. What is your identity? And when we talk about who do you see is actually a leader? And a lot of the times, no one, almost no one put up their hand and say, I am the leader. I am this leader. And
Mm,
this includes ourselves because in order to be a leader, you have to first declare that I am one to be able to lead, to lead you towards a destination, towards your goal. Also, you're leading the family on the home front. You're also leading
mm,
your team. And then, if you want to be a change maker, then you have to be the one to take charge and take the first step. Okay, so
yeah.
then, yeah, and then having that mindset and declare it's like, I am a leader. Even though sometimes we may not feel like we are, or maybe we don't really know what we are doing. And I've been there, you have been there as well, when we first started out in our entrepreneur journey. Then,
Mm,
but having that declaration and then be in our identities. Okay, I am a leader. I choose to be a leader today. And yeah,
mm,
that is how um, that we can actually move forward. And I really want to encourage all the female entrepreneurs who's listening out there,
mm.
declare. And we should. And then today also, Lilian and I, we will declare we are leaders.
Yes, and I think that you said so rightly that uh, taking the ownership of that identity and embracing it,
Mm-hmm.
embrace this identity, because whatever we believe will drive our behavior, right?
Yeah.
If you don't see yourself as a leader, you will not lead, and yeah, and it's as simple as that. And everything I like, okay, my favorite mentor, and the books that I digest a lot is John Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he says that everything rises and falls on leadership,
Yeah.
and leadership is about influence, right? You're influencing one person to another. Of course, positive influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Create
Mm-hmm.
positive influence, imparting value, knowledge, experiences. Yeah, and so embrace. The first step is to embrace that identity, right?
Mm.
Step into that identity uh, that you are a leader in, and as a leader, and you are an entrepreneur. You see, being an entrepreneur not necessarily means that you are a leader. You can be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, but not a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
you're just focusing on building a business, and you're not leading anyone except probably maybe yourself, right? It
Yes.
depends on what is the goal. Yeah, but being a leader encompasses all that, because yeah, you could be the leader in your business, like you mentioned, leader in the home front, right? Leader in the community, leader in educational front, or yeah, in many domains of life. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I think yes, embracing the identity, declaring it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, step into that identity. Yeah,
Yeah.
put on that identity. Yeah, as a leader. Hmm. Well, wow. I think we can go on and on about this, but I don't have the time for that. So we
Yeah.
just want to leave this question to our audience out there. If you are an entrepreneur, who are you really? Right? Write down. Take time, reflect. Evaluate. Who are you really? Are you, besides what we mentioned, the leader, mentor, and all that? Who else? What else comes to your mind? Right? Pen that down, and you'll be surprised how you see yourself. Right?
Yeah.
What's our the next topic that you have discussed? I think I missed.
Yeah. The next
I don't know how
one.
many episodes I missed.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
one will be
was about
habits. Yeah.
habits. Right?
Yeah. Habits. Habits.
Right. So in the area of habits, let's focus on leadership again.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what are the top three habits do you think is of a successful leader? A successful
Mm.
leader
Well,
to have.
first thing would be committed to growth. That is first
Mm,
thing. Yeah, because if we stop
yes.
growing, we can't move forward. Yeah, so that would be
Yeah.
my
Totally.
topmost.
Totally agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the
Yeah.
constant habit on a daily habits, what we do will contribute to us towards being successful. End of the day, successful doesn't mean successful in terms of monetary wise, but successful, in terms of being functional and also
Mm-hmm.
productive for the entire day.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to what is your definition of success,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in our sharing, most of our sharing, when we talk about success, talk about being successful, please bear in mind that it encompasses more above and beyond financial financial achievement. All right,
Yeah.
yeah, because we want to encompass all areas of our life, right? The whole well-being of person,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yes, I agree with you. Totally be committed to growth, and that is on a daily basis. That's why every day we learn something new. We upgrade ourselves. We read. Yeah, you and I, we both love to read and to learn new things, right?
Yeah.
And I think also to have the habit of how you look at people,
Mm-hmm.
how you value people.
Mm.
Yeah. So what's your habit of um, viewing people? So I
Mm.
know when we come to the topic about habits, right, people will be like, oh, maybe successful leader, their habits will be like they wake up 5 a.m. in the morning and
Mm.
all the doing. But here we are talking something very um a little bit unconventional, right? Yeah, we are talking about habits that are a bit intangible.
Yes.
Yes, because the habit of valuing people.
Mm.
Do you, as a leader and entrepreneur, value the people that you work with?
Yeah.
Do you value your clients? Do you value your colleagues? Do you value your team members? Do you value your suppliers? All the people that you come into contact with in your business? Do you
Mm.
value them, or are you and to see their potential, their strength in them, especially if you're working with a team, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a habit of zooming into their weaknesses, or you are cultivating a habit of zooming into their strength?
Yeah.
How to draw out that strength from your team member so that he or she can excel in the work and then bring even more success to the project, right? To the
Mm.
company, to the whole business. Yeah. So I think valuing people, the habit of valuing people.
Yeah, I think that is also, a good habit of leadership because you see
Mm,
potential rather than you see, the shortcomings.
yeah. And I think that is also, if you compare it with the habit of, like you mentioned, potential, the
Yeah.
habit of looking at potential, and it spin off my thought of
Mm-hmm.
the habit of looking at opportunities
Yes.
versus obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the habit of looking at opportunities, or and the habit of seeing obstacles?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are um, these kind of habits are all more mental, right?
Yes.
It's all a lot more mental work,
Mm.
yeah, rather than the physical work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think valuing the process as well,
Mm. Yeah.
seeing that the whole process is actually a learning journey where you learn. There's no failing, right? There's
Mm.
only learning. You don't
Yes.
fail, you learn. Yeah. Who said that? Sounds very familiar. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's another habit that you want to have, to be always
Mm.
valuing people, valuing the process. Yeah. How about one more? One more. Let's one more
One
habit.
more.
Hmm.
One more habit. Mm, dreaming. Having a good
Yes.
habit to dream big. Yeah, dream big. I think that is super important to dream big, because are you
Right.
dreaming small? So when if you're dreaming small,
Mm.
you actually play small. You are playing. You're not playing big. Then you're not going all
Mm.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to add on to that, not just big,
Mhm.
but long term.
Yes.
Long term, yeah, not short sighted. Just look at the
Yeah.
here and now, and yeah, fixated with the problems here, the situation here. Like right now, we are in the season of the
Mm.
pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So, um, you know, honestly, I mean, to be truthful, when I think and plan, I'm thinking beyond COVID, because to me, COVID is
Mm.
not going to stay forever and ever and ever. Even if it does, we are going to live with it. We
Yeah.
have already, human beings are so adaptable, right? So
Mm.
we have came out with the vaccine and all the measures and all that. We are adapting and we are managing how we to
Yes.
live with COVID. Yeah. So whatever your plans, like what Carol mentioned, dream big, not just big, but long sight far, look far ahead,
Mhm.
right? So I think that would be another habit of a successful leader.
Yeah, but there are
You don't always
so many different habits, that we can go on and on, because yeah, I mean, this is just supposed to be a recap, but this is like an add-on, right, to what we had said in the last episode. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. There's so many different good habits, healthy habits that we can learn from leaders out there. Leaders that have been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just we are just naming a few. The whole purpose of it is to help our audience.
Yeah.
For you to think, right? Set aside
Mhm.
time to think. Thinking is actually a habit also.
Yes, it is. It is. And I would also like to throw out this challenge, to the audience out
Mm,
here who are listening, who are actually watching us. What are the other habits that you can actually name, to add on to these top three?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Key in, type in the comments what other habits that you are cultivating and you think that they are really good habits for a successful leader and entrepreneur. Share
Yeah.
with us, yeah.
Mhm.
Share with us as we share with you. Share with us too. We also want to learn, right?
Yeah.
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 Mm.
Yeah. So and then the last
Okay.
but not the least, which is the last
Mm.
point that we want to do, Lilian.
Yeah, I think you covered this with Anita, right?
Mm.
About priorities. Y'all talk
Yes.
about priorities. So, but I want to zoom in further into what are the non-negotiable priorities
Yeah.
that a leader must cultivate, not just priority, but non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Yes, your thoughts.
My thoughts. Wow. I mean, I've said that in the last episode, on priorities. For me, would be number one, setting side time,
Mm,
for ourselves. Yeah, that
mm-hmm,
I feel is a super important priorities. Yeah,
mm,
because a lot of the times I wouldn't say it's actually a gender thing or a woman thing. Just that most of the
mm-hmm,
time it's just natural for all of us to just do. Just handle what are the things that needs to be done, checking off
mm,
the to do list, and then just hoping to get through the day and then try to complete. So you end up going through the motions, going through the doing, and not pulling yourself
mm,
out and then thinking about the long term, because just as we mentioned the last last point being a habit, right? Dreaming big.
Mm.
But if you dream big, you dream far. You need to have a chance to pull yourself out of the doing and to be in
Mm-hmm.
a strategic position to look at where you're going. So that
Yep.
that priority for ourselves is very important. Whether as a person, not just for entrepreneur, as a person is also very important. You evaluate yourself, how far you have, where you
Yeah.
are. So you're actually doing some kind of a check and balance on yourself, a tracking on progress tracking for yourself as well. Then you can celebrate, right? Because if you don't do that, you can't. You don't know where
Yes.
you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree with that. And thinking was not a habit for me in the past,
Mm.
and that's why my business suffered. In the initial years, because I was
Yeah.
just starting out as a very very new entrepreneur, right? I
Mm.
didn't have any mentor. I just basically just jump into the world of entrepreneurship, and there's no mentor. It's a school of hard knocks basically,
Mm.
and thinking isn't a priority.
Mm.
Getting sales is my priority back then.
Yeah.
So I've learned it. I've learned it through the hard way. Yeah,
Mm.
and I do have a friend of mine that keeps reminding me, to encouraging me to set aside time to think and plan and strategize.
Mm.
You know, and to me that was like, that's not my priority.
Yeah.
I need to get sales. You know, I need to go out there and meet customers. Yeah, and
Mm.
and initially it was okay for a while, because I was like so on fire, right? So self
Mm.
driven and motivated. But it came to a point where I learned that I do need to sit down and think and evaluate, because when we are busy, we naturally believe that we're achieving, right? But busyness does not equal to productivity.
Yes. Totally agree.
Yeah, you can be busy, 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 but busy doing non-productive things,
Mm.
non-productive tasks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've learned it through the hard way. I totally agree with you. Yeah, I need to sit down and think and evaluate, um, and that is a priority. So that's why
Mm.
now I set aside time to think, to dream, yeah, to envision, to
Yeah.
yes, and then to plan. So and I have to exercise this self control of like, okay, this is productive. This is
Mhm.
important.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you on that point. And also, to add on,
Mhm.
we have a lot of to do list, right?
Yes.
I think we know of female entrepreneurs that around us, yeah,
Mhm.
we have like a list of to do things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, like I mentioned, John Maxwell is my favorite
Mhm.
leadership mentor to learn from, and he mentioned this law of priorities,
Yeah.
which states that if you spend your time on tasks that ranks in the top 20% of importance,
Mhm.
you will see an 80% return on investment.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that means that if you have 10 tasks to do, you should be focusing on the top two most important two.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that is a very good rule of thumb for me,
Mhm.
for someone who like very tempted to complete. If I put down 10 things for today, I'm very tempted to complete all 10 of them.
Yeah.
But I've learned to, yeah, again, always learn through the hard way, to prioritize and to focus on the top two, top 20%. Yeah. How
Yeah.
about yourself?
Mm.
What are your non-negotiable priorities?
Well, my non-negotiable priority definitely is quiet time. Yeah, as you
Mm,
rightfully say. And also one thing is journaling as well. Yeah, that is one
mm,
thing, to pen down my thoughts. I mean, I can do all the thinking, which I know I'm actually quite forgetful. And then, yeah, I have a spot of genius. I want to make sure that I can write it down. Writing it down, allows me to accept it. If I have a certain negative feelings, then I
mm-hmm,
would be able to accept it, process it, and then think of a way to
mm,
to do the opposite. If it's negative, then I need to make sure it's positive, and that will actually affect my mindset, and how I would
mm.
run and start the day. So that to me is a non-negotiable priority. noting it down. Even I mean I don't I'm not like an essay writer, but just at least just to put it down. And then at the end of the day, I look at what I have set out to do, then I'm able to actually to celebrate. Yeah, I think, and then I guess that the second one would be celebrating, and that's important. It's a priority, to give yourself a pat on the back and say, hey, I've done this. Yeah, because there's a lot of times we're always pushing forward. We're not. There's no time to look back. A lot of people tell me this is what I observe. There's no time to look back. But then you need to look back and say, how this is how far I've come. I want to celebrate. Yes, and then there might be pitfalls along the way. There might be a lot of obstacles that I need to that you will need to cross, and then just say, oh, I got through this. Then celebrate because it is a step towards your goal. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I want to add on one more non-negotiable priorities for a leader, and because like just now we mentioned, dream big and and think long term, right? And whatever we do as a leader is not just for yourself; it's really for others, right? That's why we talk about servant leadership, and therefore building new leaders, developing new leaders in our team is a priority, especially if you're a business owner or a leader, especially in any domain, like I mentioned. You want to develop leaders.
Yeah.
Because if we can, and applying John Maxwell's the Pareto principle, right? The 20%. If you develop the 20% of the leadership, they in turn will be able to empower and develop the people that they are working with them, right?
Yes.
And that will be like a compounding multiplier effect, right? And that on the whole brings productivity and excellence to the whole business, right? So building new leaders, developing new leaders is, to me, is a non-negotiable priority. That's why if you see in our Women of Courage Asia community, in the area of our community building, my focus is always on the leadership, building the leaders. Yeah, and when they are built up, when women are being built up and empowered, they are able to go out there and impact and create a bigger impact, right? And their sphere of influence could be even greater than myself, right?
Yeah.
And that is the whole goal of empowering others, because we never know whose sphere of influence is, how big is that going to be. Yeah, we always talk about the sphere of influence, right? Yeah, and leadership is all about influence. Yeah. So yes, developing new leaders in our team, to me, is a non-negotiable priority.
Yeah, true, definitely. And then of course, to do so, we have to be the first, be the leader, and to build ourselves. And that's why we have this series, Lead with Courage. And what does this series bring? And it brings us to our female entrepreneur network, right? Her Courage BizNetwork. And why we keep ruling on that? Because we would like to create this platform, a safe place for female entrepreneurs to come together, to collaborate and not compete. I think that's actually very, very important, right? And then also a place for female entrepreneurs to learn and grow together. Because, like you and I, when we first started our entrepreneur journey, we didn't know, we were not taught in school, right, how to become an entrepreneur. We just try. And then we know, as you say, the school of
just
hot
do, right?
dogs.
Just do it.
Yeah,
Like
just
Nike
do
did.
it.
Just do
And then
it.
you learn along the way. And then, in the end, you make all sorts of, you learn all sorts of lessons. But the thing is that if there's an opportunity for you to continue learning and then continue to grow yourself into a better leader, a better communicator, and then to be able to connect that to a network for you to further grow your business and impact the world, right, in a positive way, with honor, with empathy, and with responsibility, which is the three core values of Her Courage Business Network. And is also, why we call it Her, HER, honor, empathy, and responsibility.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like yourself, we did not have that privilege of having mentors and a community support, in our own entrepreneurial journey. Therefore, that's why we created this Her Courage Business Network, to provide that support and that mentorship. Yeah,
Yes.
so that, because the learning curve is really very steep. Ours was
Yeah.
super steep. It's super painful. It's painful and steep, and therefore, we want to pay it forward. We want to, help those who are starting out, or who are scaling their business
Mhm.
to have that support system that we didn't have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's simply that, no other specific, hidden agenda.
Mhm.
Because as we support each other, we grow as well.
Yes.
As iron sharpens iron, we grow
Mhm.
as well in that process. For us, is the growth of the building the community,
Yeah.
and in order to lead, we need to continue to grow and learn,
Yes.
right? So it's like, it's a cycle. Yeah, it benefits everyone. Like you said,
Mm.
collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of competition, right? So that's why Her Courage Business Network. And due to the COVID situation and
Yeah.
the rules and regulations,
Mhm.
we wanted to launch on the 5th of October, but unfortunately, the team has decided to postpone the launch to the
Mhm.
2nd of November. 2nd of
Yes.
November is also still the first Tuesday of the month. Yeah. So if you have registered or opt into our registration form, you would have received the update, the notice,
Mhm.
right, of the change of date. If you haven't, click on this link below, right, to register, right, so that we hope to see you in person on the 2nd of November.
Yeah. And
And
the
I just want to
link.
add on one more good
Yes.
news,
Mhm.
which I have not shared openly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm actually working on two things concurrently, accumulating all the years of steep learning curve, all the school of hard knocks, and all the experiences, right?
Yeah.
I'm putting together a online program,
Mhm.
and I'm not doing it alone, right?
Mhm.
Again, we said it's going to be a team effort, right? So
Yes.
Carol and the rest of the team are part of this online program, and it is called none other than Lead with Courage. Yeah, and it's specifically um, designed to help female entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So, and that's one. And the second thing is I'm putting together all the years of knowledge and experiences in a next upcoming book,
Yes.
right? And yes, that is awakening courage to lead. Yeah, so I'll be sharing the 9 transformational keys to unlock, yeah, your power of influence, right? To unlock it, not just unlock, but ignite your power of influence.
Mhm.
So we are growing too, right?
Yes.
As you can see, yeah.
Yeah. And
So we
also,
continue to grow, continue to inspire each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
we really, really do want to help you to grow as well. So for those who are listening in, this is our website, www.her, courage, courage, and then biz network, network.com. So Her Courage Biz Network. So you can always come on to this, to register to attend the next meeting, or you can also search for us on Facebook, right? Just that we have a community, a Facebook community. Join us. It's free, so you can come and meet other female entrepreneurs as well. Since we can't meet physically, you can meet virtually online. Then we
Yes.
also have Her Courage Business Network Instagram. You can come and follow us as well. And of course, all of this, it's done under the company Class Living. So please,
Mm.
you can go and find us Class, CLASS, which means courage, love,
Love,
authenticity,
authenticity,
yeah,
stewardship,
stewardship
and
and
significance.
significance. So this is all there for you, all these resources for you, created specifically for you, from women to women.
Yes. Right. So that's all for today's episode. We see you again next Tuesday. This is Lilian here.
And this is Carol. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.